People-pleasing damages relationships. Angela didn't try to please everyone in her life, just the men she dated. If she was on a date with a man who said he liked women with a sense of humor, she'd make a few extra jokes. If she was on a date with a man who said he liked spontaneous women, she'd tell him all about the last-minute trip to France she took last summer. If, however, another man said he liked smart women, she'd talk about that same trip to France, but this time she'd say she went because she wanted to view fine art. Angela did whatever she could to try to make herself appear more attractive to whomever she was dating. She felt that if she said enough things that were pleasing to her date, she'd get to go on a second date. She didn't think about the long-term consequences of her ever-changing personality. Eventually, she wasn't able to please anyone quite enough to stay with her for the long haul. No respectable man wanted to date a shell of a woman who behaved like a puppet. In fact, a lot of her dates got annoyed fairly quickly by Angela because she constantly agreed with everything they said. Her attempts to say whatever they wanted to hear were usually pretty transparent. Angela feared that if she disagreed with a date or held an opposing opinion, he would no longer be interested in her, which reveals her lack of trust. "You won't keep me around unless I do what you want," she thought. If you truly care about someone and you believe the person cares about you, you'd have to be willing to tell that individual the truth. You recognize that even if that person doesn't like something you say or do, he or she can still enjoy your company. It's an impossible feat to always make everyone around you happy. Perhaps your father-in-law asks you to help him on a project. But if you leave to go help him, your spouse will get angry because you had already made plans to have lunch together. When faced with such a decision, people pleasers will often choose to risk not pleasing the person closest to them. They know that their spouse will eventually get over being offended. Unfortunately, this leaves the people you love the most feeling hurt or angry. Shouldn't we do the opposite? Shouldn't we work the hardest on the most intimate and special relationships? Ever met someone who behaves like a martyr? Such individuals' attempts to please others actually becomes a turnoff. They're constantly saying things like, "I do everything around here," or "if I don't do it, no one will." Martyrs risk becoming angry, bitter people, as their attempts to make others happy backfire. Whether you're guilty of thinking you're a martyr, or you simply struggle to say no when you fear you'll hurt someone's feelings, there aren't any guarantees people will like you just because you try to please them. Instead, they may simply start taking advantage of you without forming a deeper relationship based on trust and mutual respect. People pleasers lose sight of their values. Bronnie Ware, an Australian nurse who spent many years working with patients who were dying.